Hi, everybody. Welcome to Vets Coming Clean. I'm Peggy the Enforcer, and today we're interviewing Miss Lisa Kirk. She is a retired U.S. Army Master Sergeant. How are you doing today, Lisa?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful. So, as we ask all our guests on the show, what have you seen?
What have I seen? That was a very interesting question. Um, I've been in the Army. I was in the Army for 21 and a half years, United States Military Police Corps, Army. And I've been through the good, the bad, the ugly. And I, I've experienced a lot. And what I'd like to share with you is there's a lot of interesting things that I've been through. I've been through rape, sexual assault, physical assault, and toxic leadership.
Mm,
And yeah, and it almost took my life.
wow, that's tough. Was it due to your own doing or somebody else's doing that almost took your life?
Somebody else is doing.
Oh,
Somebody,
wow.
my mental. I was alone. It was towards the end of my career. I joined in '96, and then 7 months in at my first duty station, I was raped. Nothing happened. And then throughout my years, I mean, I've experienced a lot of great things. The MP Corps did me well. I mean, we had a lot of great experiences, met a lot of great people, but there's a lot of things out there that, people don't talk about. And it took me a while to figure it out too. And it was hard, very hard for me to go through life. And I just put my rucksack on and kept on moving, continued mission. But when things happened over and over again and nothing happened as far as being accountable for their actions, it took a big toll on me
So you
mentally.
reported nothing happened as a result?
Nothing. When I was raped in '96, the person who raped me, I didn't know who he was. I guess he knew me he saw me at the club, and then maybe he followed me. He was in the same battalion, but when he raped me, the next morning I saw him, and I ran down the hall. My friends grabbed me and took me down to the floor, and I told the commander. The commander told me that he was a battalion commander's driver, and he was getting ready to leave. And I was a private at the time. I didn't know anything about the whole Sharp thing, and nothing was really discussed with me or anything about that. So that I knew of then. And so I wanted them to do something about it. Well, they didn't do anything. In fact, I had to stand about a week later, and they tried to get me to shake his hand because he was receiving some type of award. And so it broke my heart big time, because I was wondering, why wasn't he accountable for his actions? And I thought that was just the way things went. And then I deployed and physically assaulted. Good old boy system. Nothing happened. Here in the States, here in Fort Leonard Wood, physically assaulted by a command sergeant major, and nothing happened to him. And
Wow.
it just kept on going, and I even wrote a report on it, and nothing happened. It's crazy.
So, uh, did you make a report to inside your command or outside your command?
The physical assault here on Fort Leonard Wood, I actually, when it happened, it was on the parade field, and there's a lot of people who saw it. And I told my husband about it, and he was a former MP, and he's like, "You were assaulted. You should report it." So he tried to be nice about it, go on a parade field the next day it was not the key leader rehearsal, but all the privates and everybody were there for the rehearsal. And he was like, "You don't know anything about assault." And he goes, "You don't know who you're talking to. Let's go." So we went to the MP station. Lo and behold, he used to be the provost marshal back in the day. So I was told that nothing was ever going to happen to him. And before the investigator came in and talked to us, to me, it seemed like they just shut off the video and all the cameras in there. And I was sitting there with a detective and an officer, and they were telling us, do you really want to do this? Because nothing's going to happen. And I started crying. I was like, what are you talking about? And I usually hide my emotions. So the
Right.
investigator, and he was a specialist, and he's like, well, I'm sorry that happened, but if you want to write a statement, write a statement. All those people on the field that said that it was wrong that they saw it, when I grabbed the FOIA, the packet to read it, all their statements were ridiculous. It didn't justify anything that was written, and it was sad. It was completely sad. It really made me mad, and to the point where when I went to my next duty station, the sergeant major who I was hoping to be a first sergeant for, he knew exactly what happened because the person who was investigating, the civilian, went down to my last duty station and was investigating down there. So he told him all about me. So I really didn't have a fresh start down there.
Wow. So really, when stuff happens, I know when I was in law enforcement in the military, there was nobody you can tell. Did you also have them pull you into the office and no other females around to discipline you or talk about stuff?
Sometimes it just depends on the situation.
See, I didn't find out until after I was out that they were not supposed to ever do that. Did you ever know that?
No.
I didn't either. And I that really, really upset me. It's no wonder our women vets have so many problems with PTSD, because a lot of times being an MP, you're the only female in the unit. A lot of times you're the only one on that shift, period.
Right.
And they don't think about when they discipline females, having another female to help you. At least when I was in, that was the case.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you ever try to go to mental health to reach out and get help, or to the chaplains after this happened?
I reached out to the chaplain multiple times in the unit. I was a operations sergeant when it happened, and he noticed that my behavior, because I'm very happy. I'm a very happy person. And he noticed that my behavior totally declined. And I just didn't want to be around anybody. I didn't want to participate in anything whatsoever. And I think when I came back from my deployment in 2005, I was diagnosed with PTSD, and I was receiving therapy in 2006 when I started my, journey and stuff like that, because everything else just kind of came into fruition after everything that happened to me when I was, with the sexual assault in Afghanistan. It just kind of brought up the thing that happened in 97, 96, when I got raped and stuff like that. So, and as you can tell, it's kind of interesting. I even wrote a book about it, but the dates kind of messed me up, as far as knowing what, the book right there. That's cool.
Out of uniform.
That's cool.
Clever. I like that. Did you do that artwork?
My sister painted that. My sister, Carol Grimsley, she's a artist. And I initially told her, I said, hey, can you, I sent her a picture of a half, it was like a stick figure, or just something on Google of a soldier saluting and then a woman. And then she created this huge canvas for me and sent it to me from Florida. It's an acrylic pour, and it's a half woman, half soldier, and the woman saluting. And she says if you look close enough, you can see there's a window of an opportunity. There's a door, that for the next adventure, and it's kind of cool. So yeah, she's amazing.
That is pretty awesome. I like that. I see that. I can see the outline of the individual there and everything. That's really awesome. So you wrote this book, and it covers what happened to you when you were in the military?
It gives, yes, it shares short stories of my life in and out of uniform. There's 3 pictures in there, which is kind of cool. Shows me as Cheesy Lisi. That's what my family called me when I was growing up, Cheesy Lisi. And I share where I grew up and stories of me before I even joined the military, and then just snapshots of my experience in the military, and the good, the bad, the ugly, and just to inspire and motivate people to never give up and speak up. I created this book before I retired while I was in Minneapolis, VA, going through PTSD and TBI therapy. I was in there for like 6 months, and I went through cognitive process thinking, and that was so hard. Thank God I was impatient, because they found me upstairs in the on the top floor, like in a fetal position, after I went through one session with the doctor, and it was really tough. But I took all the paperwork because I had to read this stuff over and over again, so it can help me desensitize. I just sat back and was listening to spa music and started writing. And a lot of my chapters, well, I guess most of them are military affiliated, as far as you can't make this stuff up,
Right.
expect the unexpected, stuff like that, you know. So
We posted the link there at the bottom on the ticker. It's https sq.ax/7py. So if you're interested in purchasing the book, reach out to Amazon there in order. Let's see. So what else have you seen in your career that you'd like to talk about?
oh, I have a great experience to share with you, and I was so honored when I was deployed, like 30 days in country. I was in Bagram, Afghanistan, and I was with the 25th Infantry out of Hawaii. We were actually, I was with the 58th MP Company, but a lot of the soldiers felt that we looked like a reserve unit with our patch. And I have no problems with the Reserve or National Guard. I think they're the bomb. I think they have like the best job ever, to be honest with you, and they know what they're getting into because they have a job before they join, you know? So
Right.
kudos to them. Yeah, as active duty, we're still trying to figure out what we're going to do for the rest of our lives. But so they're like, okay, we're going to give you the 25th patch. So, which is kind of cool because I, wear that after my deployment. But anyway, um, my unit was like, "Hey, we need a female marshal to work with the special forces and the Navy SEALs." So I was a staff sergeant at the time, and I was like, that'd be kind of cool if I could do that." Well, I was the highest ranking at the time in my unit, and they asked me to go do it. And the first time I jumped into the compound, or I mean, I went over to the compound with my lieutenant. He's like, "Keep your mouth shut. I don't think they like you." So I walked in the compound and I heard split tail. That's not the first time I've ever heard that before. And I was like, okay, I've heard that before. That's okay. I grew up tomboy, so I know exactly what you guys are going to throw at me. So it's okay. And we're all standing in like the circle formation, and they want to teach us how to do prone position searches. And so I think they learned, yeah,
Yeah.
received a lot of respect for me because this little guy was on this big guy, and he had his arms wrapped around his neck, and he was trying to search him. And this FBI guy was right next to me, and he was trying to introduce himself to me, and I was like, and I was, telling him who I was, and he's like, "No, my last name's Kirk, of course." And he goes, "No, you're Captain Kirk." And I was like, "Okay, I'm Captain Kirk now." It's kind of cool. So, I told him, I said, "This is what I would do," and he goes, "Time out." And my lieutenant's looking at me. He's a big guy. He goes, "I don't know what you're doing, but I know you got it." So I get the other girl who is part of the team, and I tell her, I said, "Be my security. I'm going to show them how to do a proper search." So I showed them, and they're all going, "Oh, this is cool," So from that point forward, it was like, so like I was doing, what they told me to do, and we go out like on missions and stuff like that. And I was with them for like 4 months, just going out on missions, just to search women and children. And in fact, I helped them create a document that for like what you were saying about,
The knife hand.
just that is actually I deployed 2004, 2005. I was with them for like about 6 to 8 months on roughly, and they still use the same document as from what I was told today. on searching. They use that practice, which is kind of cool. I was just talking to my buddy about that, which is kind of cool. But I had such a blast doing it. And I went back to my unit because I had to work with them for a little bit because I was a squad leader. And the skipper came up to me. He goes, Captain Kirk, what are you doing here? Why aren't you with us? I was like, I have no idea. He goes into for a meeting, comes back out. He goes, um, I hope I don't get you in trouble. And I was like, what are you talking about? I have no idea. I just, I don't know. So my sergeant major comes out. He goes, I'm gonna talk to you, your first sergeant, and your platoon sergeant. I was like, oh, what did I do? He goes, who do you know? I said, I don't know anybody. And he goes, apparently they want you back on the team. And I was like, well, that's amazing. So yeah, it was a wild experience. And out of all the 21 and a half years I've been in, as far as I mean, I look like a glorified specialist with my awards and decorations and stuff like that. But out of all the awards I can possibly receive, the write-up for the Navy SEALs was just incredible. I mean, and my the SEALs wanted to give me a Navy Commendation Medal, but
Oh, wow.
my first sergeant was like, if I don't have one, she doesn't get one. And I was like pretty mad about that. I was so pissed. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was
Right.
out there doing this stuff. And I mean, I got an ARCOM or whatever, but it was the best write-up for an ARCOM you can ever possibly imagine. And I need to frame that thing, but yeah, it was the coolest thing. But yeah, that out of the experiences of working with some respectful and respectable individuals, I can honestly say those guys are
So
amazing.
the Army MPs, the Air Force, it was all one career for those that were doing the law enforcement and the security. Is it the same with the Army? Pretty much.
Pretty much. We have the field and the garrison side. And we usually go by shifts depending on if you're in a company, you would go work in the road for a while and then come back and then go into the field, do like field operations, go somewhere, support somebody, and then go back on the road unless they need you for deployment or something like that. So yeah.
So when were you in? I don't have the dates in front of me right now. What years were you in, Lisa?
Oh, 1996 to 2017.
Okay. I was in 2003, 2009. So that's why the knife hands make sense. I was in during the same time that we were being taught those search procedures.
Yeah.
I remember I had a blast going through the academy and everything and going through the drills and everything. And they make it to where it's automatic and threat level and everything. It gets drilled in your head for sure.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Now, I want to ask you, did you ever face reprieve from the men after you made the claims? Did you ever get sexual harassment back or harassment from the men for voicing what happened to you?
No, not at all.
Really?
No.
And they never gave you a hard time for going to speak to people about what happened to you either?
Not at all. Like in 97 when I got raped, I remember I had to walk up to the individual because he was receiving an award and I didn't want to.
Right.
So I stayed away from the formation. And the first sergeant and the commander were like, you need to go over there and shake his hand. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I was trying to be very respectful, but I was a private. So my leadership was like, we'll walk with you and we'll make it happen. So they're trying to maintain their space. So when it came to that point where I had to shake his hand, I didn't even want to touch him.
Right.
And in the corner of my eye, you can tell when somebody's like looking at you or whatever. So I looked over and I guess they're waiting for me to shake his hand. He pulled me in. He said, thanks for not, telling on me, Whistler. I guess. Yeah. Apparently he felt that he wasn't being, he wasn't, I didn't say anything about it, but I did, but he just didn't know about it because nothing happened.
Wow.
Yep.
So have you reported it to the VA since you've been out, so, and in your therapy sessions?
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
that's good that you've been able to talk about it, because that would weigh heavy on me, knowing that he never even got a slap on the hand for what he did. It's like the military finds that behavior acceptable, and it's not at all acceptable.
It's not, no. Even like 13 years after that, with that whole situation I explained about that so major, nothing happened. I got to the point where I was like completely done. I was almost done with everything. And I figured a fresh start to Kansas would have been like my best bet, just to go there, finish my time, be close to family, take on another first sergeant position, and then, retire. Now, when
So
I got there,
you're retired from being an MP now, and what are you doing?
I'm retired. I work part time at a local tap room in Waynesville, and I own a business. It's called Create with Lisi. I host paint parties. The paint parties are more. I think they're more therapeutic for me than they are. They're therapeutic for me because I like watching people create, and the environment is interesting when they come in. They're like, "Man, it's a blank canvas. There's no, like, paint by numbers or stencils or anything." I'm, like, guiding them to paint what I have painted in the past that they have to see and take a picture of and paint it. And, so it was my therapy. It helped me survive, and I want to give back to the community by hosting these parties just to bring the community together so they can relax and create their own canvas and have.
So,
Well, I have a
Michael,
question. Um, what led you into let me adjust my mic. It sounds a little loud. Oh, anyway, what led you into doing artwork or finding a outlet in artwork as far as helping you with your own anxiety and stuff?
That's a great question. When I was in Kansas, I was sent to the Wounded Warrior program down there, and because I almost took my life, and my medical and mental health, everything, physical, mental, was just on a downward slope, and so they sent me to the Wounded Warrior program, and I love art. I love art and music, and so I just started like thinking of things to do not only for myself, but maybe to give back to the community. So we have a lot of art, like you saw with my book cover. My sister's an artist. My family's kind of like, we're like the Brady Bunch when it comes to music, and I have my relatives are artists and stuff like that. So I just love
Awesome.
I love art. It's my therapy.
Yeah, I've done artwork all my life also. I found, at the beginning, it's not very evident what's going on, but later on, when you become comfortable in it, it seems like you can literally get lost in just doing that process and not experience time or anything. It's amazing, and it's hard to get people to understand that because they're so what's the word for it? Performance driven. So they're scared to put the pencil to the paper or anything. And it's just like, and I even find myself, this is God, how many years? What, 30 years, honey? I've been doing artwork. Yeah, I still to this day have imposter syndrome creep up on me, and I have problems with that pencil going on that paper. So it's just an ongoing battle with your own ego. But it's very therapeutic. I think it's very cathartic, actually. There's emotions you can get out in artwork that you can't express vocally.
Yes, indeed.
so what type of medium do you use? Is it oil, watercolor?
I
Trying to
use
think of.
I use acrylic. I'm petrified of watercolor. I know if I get the hang of it, I could probably do it, but I like acrylic because I always tell my classes that a canvas is forgiving as long as you don't have that water drip, because we use water for blending, not, don't go heavy with the water, because you get that drip, you can't really fix it. So, but if you don't like the canvas, you can just paint over it. I mean,
Let me tell you a story that happened in art class, and you may, I don't know if you've run into this. Our instructor, you have to understand when you go buy art supplies, that stuff gets expensive very quick when you're in college. One of the things he had us do, we had these illustration boards. He had us lay them on the floor and put a piece of paper over them and walk on them. And the reason he had us do that, he said, have you ever had anything in your life conquer you that you walked on? He said, now pick it up and start painting.
That's cool.
It's a different way of thinking about it. But yeah, that's what he did to get everybody over the fact that I'm fixing to destroy this $12 piece of canvas that I just got. And I hardly have any money because I'm in college kind of situation. But that's one of the things he was getting everybody over was the fear of just putting, do something. Just do, it doesn't matter,
Oh, most definitely. Yes.
Is that something that you find yourself having to teach people to get over that fear?
I'll tell them, like, for example, they come in and say, I can't even paint a stick figure. They'll come in with like a friend or something like that. And their friend's like, don't worry about it. Like she guides you step by step. Don't worry about it. And so I think with like people like feeling comfortable with the way I teach it, and it kind of puts people at ease. Because there's a lot of people that come in, their eyes are big, and they're like, "Man, there's no stencil on there. I mean, you didn't paint the cat on there. There's no paint by numbers. It's going to be incredible." But what I really enjoy most about the end state of it is like everybody's canvas is completely different.
Yep.
I always get intimidated when I go to paint because there's so many brushes to choose from, and then I worry about having too much or not enough paint, and so I don't worry with paint. I do. My art works usually with graphite pencils or colored pencils, and because the paint, I feel like I'm going to do the brush stroke wrong, or I'm going to do something wrong.
Oh yeah. It's crazy. Like some people are like heavy on the hand, and and then the next time they come to class, I start noticing that they're a little bit lighter on the hand because they're listening. And then I get a lot of people that come to my class and, can you paint it for me? I was like, I can, but it's your canvas. You get to take it home. So I want you to share the experience. And if you need me, I'll help you. And
Right.
That's what I'm here for. But and there's a lot of people that I'll have a canvas with what we're supposed to paint, and they're pretty simple. They're usually theme based, or like if it's the holidays or something like that. But I have a group that comes in and they'll find something on Pinterest, and they're very happy about that too, because there are some places that they go to where they're like, you have to paint this. You got to stick to the program. I'm like, do what you got to paint. I don't care if you paint. I don't care what you paint, just as long as you come in and have fun.
So do you supply everything if they sign up for a class? And they sign up for a class at createwithlisi.com, correct? And this is located where in Missouri?
I have a sugar shack in Plato where it's on my it's on my property, and I can comfortably fit like 12 people, and 12 people, but
That's
usually
a nice studio.
Yeah, it's not too tight, but everybody's not facing this way. Some are facing this way and that way, but I have like 4 tables, and yeah, so it's really nice. And then I go to venues. I've been branching out to a lot more venues. I'm a contractor on post on Fort Leonard Wood as well, so I do a lot of parties out there as well. And I'm very reasonable. I'm like $20 a seat. I just want people to come together and
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I'm working on different types of canvases instead of just 11 by 14 canvas. That's what I usually run with. Kids, I usually do 8 by 10s because they could just paint whatever they want, no big deal. But I'm starting to use like the wood pucks, and I'm going to start working with glasses as well.
Ooh, I bet
Oh.
that'd be pretty.
But I provide the everything that they need. All they have to do is just show up.
So is
Sounds
it
like an
just
awesome program.
a paint? Is it like paint and sip, or is it just painting and talking? Or how do you run your classes usually?
Depending on like depending on the age, of course. I've had paint parties at my sugar shack, and like I've had birthday parties at my sugar shack, which is kind of cool. I've had friends come over, like this is their third time coming over to my house for paint parties, and I have them bring their own beer or whatever they're drinking and snacks and stuff like that. I do have insurance to cover this. I do liability, but I always make sure that everybody's good to go because I do live out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, but I always tell people to make sure that they're safe or they're staying the night, which I have plenty of room. But at the venues, usually it's the tap room, the Piney River Tap Room is one of my establishments. I work there too. That's one of my most popular one. That they serve beer and food, and I'm branching out to a lot of other places too. Hopefully, I get out to Lebanon, and I'm actually going out to Lebanon this month, and then hopefully the lake. So
I just had an odd thought. Since you live out in the country, you could do paint and bonfires, paint around the bonfire at nights.
oh, that would be nice.
Something different. And that way, if there's a lot of veterans wanting to do paint their PTSD away and then throw it in the fire or something, do something different, something that, I don't know. It's just something that came to mind.
That's a great idea. My
Because I've heard
goodness.
about people journaling and then burning it, but I've never seen anybody do a class where they paint their trauma and then destroy it. That way they can disconnect from it more or deal with it in a healthy manner. That was just something I thought about since you said you live out in the country. I was like, that'd be interesting. Paint under the stars.
Yeah, we have like you can actually see the Milky Way out here. It's crazy. Somebody pointed that out. I might have to do that. That's a great idea.
That'd be fun, especially springtime and fall when it's not too hot and it's just right.
Oh yeah, my favorite time of year.
No mosquitoes.
No idea. Well, you're far enough north. Y'all don't have as big mosquitoes problem as we do down south, do you?
They don't. The mosquitoes aren't that bad. They don't bug me as much. When my mom comes to visit, they love her. Man, she's sweet. I have citronella candles, the sticks all around her. Yeah, but
wow.
I remember going.
Because in the Delta, she'd be swarmed.
I remember going to Oklahoma, and I saw this. I swear, I opened up the window to get some air, and the screen was broken. And this mosquito, I swear, it had goggles on it. It was like flapping. I was like, man, this thing's big. I'm assuming that's how big the ones are in Arkansas.
That sounds like Mariana.
Yeah. My goodness. Mm-hmm.
So do you do any other art other than painting for therapy?
I play guitar and a handpan.
Wow.
So I mean, music is my thing too as well. There's a lot of resources I've been to since I retired. One was in Washington's Warrior Path. And I think they have one down in Arkansas. It's called Sheepdog.
I've heard of them, yes.
Sheepdog, yeah. I think that it's the same kind of program. And then there's also another one. It's Creative Vets, where it's a program in Nashville where I went, I think it was last year or the year before. I think it was last year. Man, time's flying. But anyway, I went down there and created a song with some songwriters in the backstage of the Grand Ole Opry with Dottie West's daughter-in-law. And it's called There Is a Light. It's pretty cool. They didn't they didn't go live with it as far as being on Spotify or anything like that because I actually sang it. So it's my own personal song, which is kind of cool. But the musicians were incredible. Like they took a lot of artists and just grabbed a whole bunch of musicians from like Garth Brooks, Kenny Chesney, Brett Aldridge. All those guys came together and created the song for us. And like on Spotify, if you look up like veteran music, it'll play Creative Vets music. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Now, did you get to meet any of the people that work at the Grand Ole Opry while you were there?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I
I
was
just
just curious if you did. My cousin Marty Slayton works there. That's why I was asking. Is if since you got to go, I've never gotten to go to the Opry. That's why I was wondering. I thought that was pretty cool.
to go. It's awesome. Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, Jamie Johnson was performing and I was putting my garb that I bought from the gift shop inside the van. And I guess a couple of the veterans who I was with was talking to him. And then we sat down to listen to him. And before he got on stage, well, when he got on stage, he was like, I just want to tell you, I was backstage talking to a couple vets. I was like, oh, I looked to my left and right and he smiled. I was like, I missed out on that opportunity. But Jamie Johnson's really short. I didn't know if you guys knew that. But that guy's amazing. But yeah,
Wow.
it was an incredible journey.
I have an interesting question for you. And you don't have to mention anybody's names with this, but do you have any cool stories about people that didn't realize they were artists, or maybe people that absolutely found their way out of PTSD and stuff like that with artwork that you actually got to witness?
That's a good question.
'Cause I know that with my wife, when she was going through what she was going through, I pushed her into doing artwork, and I think on some level it absolutely helped pull her out. So,
That's
I
a
mean, she
great.
was really an artist. She was really a good artist already, but it was a confidence issue for her. But yeah, I didn't know if you had any cool stories to share of anybody doing some amazing artwork and they didn't even realize they were artists or anything like that.
Oh, I have one that I mean wasn't in my group or anything like that, but my best friend, my man, he does woodworking, and I mean that's like his place. Like when he gets out of his when he retires out of the government service, that's his main focus is his woodworking, and it's helped him a lot because he suffers from depression and it's a life changer. And when I see him down there working, it's the happiest thing that I've never seen him so happy.
Yeah.
So
I find that's the way it is. My mind gets so quiet, especially if I have good sessions where I'm sitting down for 2 or 3 hours at a shot. You know, how much did you notice when people first come in, they have a problem sitting still and just trying to focus?
a lot. Like they don't even want to sit down next to like in front of their canvas. They take a picture of the canvas, and then when I always ask them to take a picture so they have it at their station, and then I'll ask them to choose their colors. They don't have to use the same colors, and then just relax and go get a drink or whatever, get some food, and they'll sit there and talk for a very long time, try to avoid it, or or they won't sit down. And then when we get started, they'll sit down and they're like, I can tell that they're nervous. And what I do is I start off by raising my glass to thank everybody for showing up and being a part of it, and allow me to teach them to create or be a part of their creative minds and stuff. And we cheers to that. Whatever they're drinking, doesn't matter if it's root beer or water or beer. And then I give them the rules. And the rules are just to have fun. The red cup is for water, but I've had people put their brushes in their drink. It's funny.
That's the reason I quit doing watercolor.
Yeah, it's called Sip Happens. I've had a couple people do that. They put instead, or they drink the red cup. You know, before it
Oh,
was
if you're a coffee drinker, watercolor is not what you need to be doing.
really,
Because
it's all
yeah,
looks like.
once you put the creamer in the coffee, it almost looks identical to the muddy water that watercolor produces.
Oh
Especially
wow!
if you're not using a clear glass, it's like a mug. Yeah, you can't hardly tell the difference if you're not paying attention. So you'll dip your you dip your brush back in your coffee back and forth. It's full of procedures. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, that's funny.
The
Wow.
first taste, boy, you can taste the dirt, the sediment in the watercolor. Oh my God.
And I recycle my cups, so I try to get them as dirty as possible, and to let them know that that's for their water, and try not to drink it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I try to get them as comfortable as possible. And it's funny though, like halfway through, and I'll say, hey, you know, halfway through, y'all are going to be like in the canvas, I promise you. And
Nope.
it's funny, like, because it's a 4-hour block of instructions. So in the beginning, they're all like talking and stuff like that. And then about a couple hours in, I'm like, all I hear is the music. I don't hear any wrestling around, or they're not even going to the bathroom or taking breaks, because I tell them to take a break, get up and walk around and check everybody else's
Oh yeah.
canvas. Because I might give them some like inspiration or whatever. No,
Right.
they're focused on their canvas. It's so cool. So
Wow. Yeah, I
yeah.
know. I've sat for long sessions and my back will give me grief. Oh my goodness. Because I'm not even paying attention. I am so focused. I may be craning over what I'm working on, and by the time I'm finished, I'm just like, all of a sudden I got this Charlie horse going. Because you get into your work. You really do. And I mean, that is so true about falling into the canvas. And it does take about an hour of warm up time, as far as I can tell. At least
Oh
it
yeah.
does for me.
Have you ever thought about going up to the VA that's near you and doing classes in the mental health there, or doing once a week classes through there?
Uh, I talked to a lady out there, and they do an art and music kind of like class. So I could participate, but they already have somebody up there that does it. I'm involved in a MST group, sexual trauma group, and every now and then we do something that, like whether it's horseback riding or something, we all get together and do something. So I always like wherever we go, I always bring my supplies. And we actually went to a VFW and painted at one point, and like we just kind of go to a central location and paint. We went to a church one time and painted, which was amazing.
That's awesome. I find it hard to find veteran groups outside the VA. It's very difficult to find other groups, especially with other female veterans. Most VFWs, DAVs, it's mostly men when you go to those groups. Has your VA been able to provide you resources with areas to meet vets in town?
Well, my I go through Columbia through the VA, so it's about 2.5 hours away. So a lot of their stuff is like up there in Columbia. So I'm down here in you would say the Waynesville area, because there's nothing out here in Plato. So um, no, I mean we have a
Hours. So do you get community care for everything, or do you have to go in every time you got to go see a doctor?
uh when I like for my physical health and stuff like that, I go to Leonardwood if I need some of my medications refilled and stuff, or follow-ups and stuff. I they do have a CBOC in Waynesville. I can go there now because I have a primary care manager. But a lot of my psych stuff, I go through a virtual therapist online through the Columbia VA.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find a lot of veterans that live in remote areas either have to drive or they've got a small clinic that they rely on, but their services are limited if they're not within so far of a VA. What, Mike, do you remember how far it is? They were telling us.
Situation.
What was it, an hour out?
Situation.
It was what, an hour outside. You have to live with so
Yeah,
far away.
it's 1 hour from the actual VA that they can start giving you community care, start outsourcing.
Oh, wow.
And the bad part of it is if they get backed up, a lot of times there's plenty of people right next to them they can send you to, but they won't do it nowadays. I'm not sure why that is. That they're backlogged on people they're trying to see as it is, and it doesn't make any sense why they're not outsourcing more. But maybe a problem with funding.
Maybe, yeah. Like if I have to go through like physical therapy, and since I'm a retiree, they have problems getting me into Fort Leonard Wood because they're taking active duty because the post is so huge that I have to go. They have to refer me off post. So I have to like pay a copay, which is no big deal. But after a while, if I have to do therapy, it costs a bit. But I mean, I can go through the VA if I needed to. I just needed a primary care manager. I just thought I didn't think I needed one, but I'm glad I did. So, I mean, now I can actually, if I need to do something like, with my hearing aids and stuff like that, I could just go through the VA instead of go through Fort Leonard Wood for some things.
Right.
Wow.
We do a lot of holistic health through our VA system. They let us go do acupuncture and massage and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, that would be
They don't
nice.
let y'all do that there yet?
I don't know. I have to go through and ask. I mean, I know they have a chiropractor on post, but I don't know if there's one at the VA, or I don't know. Yeah.
You should check
Well,
it out.
Didn't our VA just get through adding a new department?
Yeah, they added a whole holistic health department. They added a chiropractor, massage therapist, and acupuncturist. And they're teaching yoga and meditation and holistic foods and stuff.
Very nice.
But I found that you have to actually ask for it, which kind of upset me because that's.
You would think they'd offer it as option. Instead, I'm not going to say they're pushing medicine because that's not necessarily true, but I do know that's the first line of treatment they usually go for. I very rarely have heard a doctor go holistic first and then pills later.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not sure why that is, other than maybe it's just a cultural norm that all the medical community's been dealing with for a lot of years. So they teach it constantly instead of going, hey, there's alternatives than putting chemicals in people's bodies. So
Yeah, we're trying to make sure we let all veterans know about it because a lot of veterans don't know that holistic health is available through our VA. Now, as far as getting herbal supplements and stuff like that, they're still not doing that, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's still out of pocket.
For example, I went to my acupuncturist and she's giving me stuff to help with fibroids that is all herbal Chinese herbs, but the VA won't pay for it. Well, even with the prescription from her, they still will not pay for it.
Wow. I know, like, I went through A to Z with my migraines, and I got to the point where I was in the hospital once a week, maybe 2-3 times a week when I was in Kansas. So when I went to Minneapolis VA for treatment, Botox. That is definitely something if you've had like migraines and you've been the one like A through Z on your medications, it's a lifesaver. I haven't, knock on wood, I haven't been in a hospital for migraines. I mean, I know when they're coming because I'm
Right.
a week getting them, but I mean, changed my life. I know it's chemicals, but I mean, if there's something that I can do besides that, I mean,
Well,
Well,
my wife's, like in my wife's case, a lot of her problems were being allergic to everything they were giving her.
oh
And
wow.
that's what made it so hard for us. And, when you're dealing with a government entity, they've got a certain list of medications they go by. They don't have a whole lot of alternatives for people that have allergies. And so it makes it kind of hard when you get sick.
Yeah, most definitely.
So that's kind of the reason we went with the herbal side of it. And we started researching that. And we found actually there's a lot safer ways of getting well outside of having to do the medication. So
And with the acupuncturists, they were able to do these little seeds things. And I was getting migraines. They put it on the ankle right up in that area. They put one on each ankle. And so when you get a migraine, you just squeeze it and it gets rid of it. It's
Wow.
it helps tremendously. It shocked me because
Well, and wasn't it also anti-nausea too?
the anti-nausea was on the wrist, I believe, if I remember correctly. There's different acupuncture points on different meridians on the body and stuff. Just realized we've been talking for about 15 minutes now.
Yeah, I'm about my computer's about ready to die.
Well, okay. If that's the case, we can go ahead and wrap up with anything else you had left to talk about your business or about your service career, because I don't want your phone to die and you have stuff that you still wanted to talk about.
Oh, I know. I'm good right here. Hold on. Whoop! I am plugged in. I'm
Nice.
good. All right. Sorry. You guys, I hope I didn't make you sick.
No, you're good. No worries. No worries whatsoever. And Mike does his computer. He does most of his work on the computer now.
Nowadays, yeah, I went from traditional back over to digital, and I've been using Corel Painter, which it emulates everything you can possibly do. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I can actually do oil paintings, and it actually gives me the depth of the oil paint itself, so I can get the texturing and everything, just like real oil painting
Oh, that's so cool. Right on the computer.
on the computer. Yeah.
And he
Oh,
found actual websites that he can send these paintings to, and you said they print
They'll
them,
print
Mike?
it out at they've got printer technology now that I can send that to them, and they'll actually can print the depth of the ink and everything, so it looks like an actual real oil painting. So
Oh, that is super cool. I
yeah,
have to
and right now I've been focusing a lot of my stuff on cartooning, which I don't know if you've ever tried to go draw something with the less amount of lines as possible, but that is something else. It's taken me a while to get used to it. I'm a sketch artist by trade, so I'm constantly used to filling things in with gradients and everything else. It's more or less, it's linear illustrations, what they actually call it. But anyway, when you do a comic strip, you're trying to reduce everything down to the smallest amount of lines possible, but with the same expression that you would get out of say a photograph. And that's really tricky.
Wow, that's cool.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Wow.
Do you
But
have
it's
any
like
of your
what you're doing. I love the artwork, and so I went to checked out your website. I thought it was cool as all get out. I was
Oh,
like,
thank
man, that's
you.
amazing.
I need to add more of my pictures though. I actually do. I take wedding photos. I like their first dance or something. I just did one, and it's like a willow painting. So there's no eyes. It's just like the
Gesture,
shape of the face. Yeah, just the shape
yeah,
of yeah. And I just paint them as perfect as possible, and whatever colors they're in. And I usually get the color of their wedding, so I can put that in the background and do kind of like
right.
something crazy. And then the name of their song I'll put on there, and I'll give it to them as a gift.
I bet
That's
So
that's
awesome.
yeah.
get
Hmm.
down. My Great Dane just got up from bed. Sorry.
Oh, I thought it was time for us to dance.
If I don't have her lay down, the whole bed will be dancing in the screen, and you'll feel like you're on a ship.
Yeah, she's only about 170, 175 pounds.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
My
Her head's
goodness.
as big as mine is. Proo. Damn.
How old is she?
She is how old, Michael?
Holy
Uh,
moly.
3.5. Yeah, she's already had a litter, and man, she's something else. And they're absolutely Scooby-Doo personalities. I mean, all the way down to talking. It's pretty
Oh,
amazing.
She can open the back door and lets herself in. When she had the puppies, if we didn't let them in right when she wanted in the house, she opened the back door and would let herself in the house. And the Mel that we had would turn the lights on and off. They're too smart.
Well, they're big enough to reach everything we reach is the problem.
Wow, that's cool.
Like if she comes up to, you see that counter behind me? If she comes up to it, she can put her head flat on the counter. That's how tall she is.
That's a
So,
big.
well, it's a lot of strategic cooking. Let me put it that way.
I bet. So they don't counter surf, right?
Right? Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Or a counter sweep is more like it.
Oh yeah.
Now, you said your spouse does woodworking. Is his stuff available online for purchase, or does he have a website?
Yes, it's bark apostrophe n dog woodworking.
All right, let's see. You pulling it up, Michael?
Yeah.
Okay. My keyboard does not want to work right.
Yeah, he does
Well,
a lot of fun stuff.
I've seen his Facebook. Let's see. Oh, they need to quit changing Google.
Now, is he still an MP, or is he doing civilian work now for the government?
He got out in 2000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he got out in 2000. He did the Warfighter back in 98 and placed third out of 38 teams. And it took a toll. He's a big guy. He's like 6'2", big guy. And it took a toll on his shoulders. He had like shoulder replacement on both. And so he's like, I was a specialist at the time. He goes, hey, do you mind staying in and I'll retire, or staying in and retiring? And, you know, I need to get out. And I was like, okay, I got you. So I stayed in, of course, and retired. And when we went to Hawaii, my next duty assignment, he got out and started working with his cousins and built a resume. So he works for IT on Fort Leonard Wood at the neck, and he's getting ready to retire. He's been there since 2006. Yeah.
IT, that's what my husband used to do. That's why I have him doing the production and stuff, because anytime there's technical glitches, he usually figures them out.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's all about the field work though, like fiber optics and stuff like that. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, so he does all that. Whenever I talk to people about him, they're like, "Where's your husband work?" I was like, "Neck." They're like, "Oh my gosh, he's like one of those guys." I was like, "They're cool people, man." He's just like, "Well, you know, those guys are awesome because they can help you with your computer issues, but I guess the people who try to get them to help them." You have to be patient with them. That's the only point, you know. And Andy's like, I am so glad I'm not, you know, I work out in the field, you know. I love the most of the people. I mean, well, majority of the people he works with, who I know, they do great work for NEC, but I can't help the computers down. It's not their fault. I think it's operator headspace and timing, to be honest with you. I don't know.
They make a T-shirt for text that actually says, "I can't fix your PC," right across the front.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. So, but he's looking forward to retiring so he can just focus on woodworking and just
Let his
having
mind
fun.
relax. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference. Really
So do you
does.
ever paint any of his woodwork projects? You combine efforts?
We're working on a project for a friend of mine back home. Her children got married, and he's making these albums out of wood, and they're like leather straps and stuff. So I paint the stain on the letters and stuff like that. We use gold flakes and stuff like that too as well. So it's pretty
Yeah, I was
cool.
looking at some of his woodworking. I was like this lion he did.
Oh, I did that lion, the dry brush. Yeah, I painted
Yeah.
it.
Oh man, it looks good.
He wanted me to do a dry brush on it so it didn't look like too bright.
No, it looks great.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I'll let him know that.
A long time ago, I used to work for a sign company. I used to sandblast signs and then paint them. And man, I did not like that job, but it was really cool. Some of the reliefs we got to do. But so he does a lot of chip carving and everything too, then, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does a lot. He has so many machines downstairs that he bought over the years, and just it's definitely like his man cave. He has like a CNC machine. He's got a bunch of lathes and just
Oh, wow.
yeah,
He's got the layout. He's got a production layout. Yeah, that's
he
nice.
does. I
Well,
told him he needs to be.
it's a good thing you built you your own shop, because that would get messy having all that sawdust around all that paint.
Yeah. My shop used to be his trailer shop, or his tractor trailer shop, where his tractor and all his stuff used to sit, like all his wood. And the neighbors came together and helped him with the like leveling out the floor. And then we just kind of created it to my space, which is kind of cool. I was going to actually do it down there, but the Wi-Fi is kind of sketchy since I'm out in the middle of nowhere. Then I figured up here would be better. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
You have to get him run some networking.
Oh, he did all my electrical, like everything. Like I have Wi-Fi
Yeah.
down there too, which is cool. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I don't trust it.
Have you thought about sorry. That's sorry. It's just I was thinking about your classes. Is it every Tuesday that you have your classes?
Not every depending on the day. Because I have some days I have to take my husband up to Columbia, but it depends on when people want to do paint parties, and I'm available because I work Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at the tap room. So
Do you ever do invite people online to join?
oh, that would be cool. Yeah. My friend does that. She lives in Texas. She does online paint classes. And I think that's incredible. I've done that for a couple people though, in the past, like my retreat friends. I've done that before. Yeah. Because we're out.
Yes, there's a lot of groups I know of veterans getting together that are musicians that get together once a week and do Zooms. And so I was wondering, I haven't heard of any groups doing painting and stuff, and thought that'd be pretty cool if artists started doing their thing and having groups for vets getting together and stuff.
That'd be awesome. Wow, you're giving me so many cool ideas. This is awesome. We're networking. I love it.
Well, that's what I'm all about. It's because you don't know unless you talk to other people about stuff that you can do that are cool ideas. I've got a lot of friends that are artists as well. So does Michael. And that I've heard of people taking hikes just to go paint something and stuff like that. And there's just so much you can do when you're working on helping others learn through an art form. It's the possibilities are endless.
Oh,
I know.
yeah,
We're doing a once a month get together. We're calling them mess calls because everybody in the military went to the mess hall or the chow hall to eat. And so the third Saturday of the month, which would be this Saturday, correct, Michael? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The 18th at noon, we'll be doing our mess call. We're doing a hour. We're getting together. Vets, civilians, doesn't matter, because everybody out there needs somebody to talk to. But we're going to do an hour call, and it's just people to get together and talk. And, you know, if people want to get together and do artwork or whatever, we'll do it. I just know that when I was at a low point and medication I was on made me not right in the mind and made me suicidal, it would have helped if I had people that I could reach out to and something to look forward to. And so we're trying to do once a month call on Zoom for an hour if you're interested in joining us this Saturday at noon. I wanted to extend that invitation to you. If you go to our website in the top right corner, it's got a red button with the triangle that says mess call, and you can find the Zoom link there.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I don't think I have anything going on Saturday. So I don't think yet. I know we're trying to get stuff done. Andy's like on crunch time with getting stuff done for Christmas on the Square and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, what time does it start?
It'll be noon Central Time on Saturday, and last month I kind of messed it up because it's we're doing this for free, so we don't have a paid Zoom, and I didn't realize when I opened it early that it would end it early, and I'm like, oh crap. So this week it'll be starting directly at noon, and that way it'll go for the 40 minutes to an hour, whatever Zoom allows you to do legally for free. But that way people have a place to come and talk and just BS and get to know each other, meet vets from across the nation, network. I mean, all the vets I've ever met have incredible Rolodexes and know a lot of people. I think it's time we start pulling together and finding each other and getting back together, because every vet I meet wants to hang out with other vets, because it's the camaraderie is gone once you leave the military. And
Yes.
you try to make it to the appointments, or not appointments, but the events the VA has, but they don't make it to where it's very social networking friendly. And at least the ones we've been to. So, geez, it's been a long day. Was there anything else you wanted to get to or cover while we were still talking?
If there's one thing that I can share, and this is, I feel like I'm a poster child for this. I don't have life insurance. I missed out on that opportunity. After I retired, I was working at a local brewing company, and I had 180 days to get my life insurance through the VGLI. Well, I was like, I'm missing something. Oh, I had to make this phone call. So I made a phone call, and I was a day late, $1 short. And they said, by law, we can't backdate it. So I said, okay, that's fine. I'll go through like Select Quote or Prudential, somewhere, some other insurance company. So I knew a friend of mine in town. So we did the medical and stuff like that. And I sat down with him, told him all my meds, they had to draw blood, this and that, so forth. And I used to smoke cigarettes at the time, so I thought it was going to be astronomical. Long story short, I received a letter. I thought it was going to be astronomical because I smoked. No, I got denied for life insurance because of PTSD, anxiety, and depression. So with that being said, the moral of the story is, if you're getting ready to retire and you haven't received your claim yet, or your disability ratings or anything like that, get life insurance. Or if you have already received your disability, go with the VGLI. Then later on down the road, after like 6 years or something like that, find another life insurance unless you're comfortable with the VGLI. Right now, it's been like almost 6 years. I can go through other agencies because there are some agencies that didn't want me because the fact that I had PTSD, anxiety, and depression, they didn't want to take that responsibility. So it was a lesson learned.
Really? See, we're in bankruptcy because I was disabled. My husband had to quit his job to take care of me. And when you're in bankruptcy, they don't allow you to have life insurance. And so now that I know this, it's like, wow. But I didn't know that they could deny you life insurance because of mental health conditions. That's outrageous. Because that's not your fault.
No. And even like my bank, who I did everything with while I was in the military, said contact them in 6 years because they can't help me out. And it broke my heart. Yeah. So, yep. So I'm still looking. I can do it now. My husband's like, just hold off for a little bit. You'll be fine.
Right.
I was like, all right. But still, I mean, yeah, it's just something to put out there.
They shouldn't be allowed to do that. It's like denying somebody because of a pre-existing or genetic condition that's to no fault of their own. And that's not a reason to deny somebody life insurance, if you ask me. What about you, honey?
Well, you have to understand what insurance companies are. A lot of people don't realize what you're doing is you're literally having a bet that you won't get sick over a certain period of time. You're actually, it's a bet. And so you're constantly giving them money with the thing that they're supposed to cover you, but they're going off the bet that you're not going to get sick. So that's what they're looking at as far as life insurance and everything, and how many months can they collect money off of you before you do get sick? And it's funny how they process all that. But yeah, the humanity part of it's not in that equation as far as how they dole out who gets what. It's statistics. So that's
That's
just the reality of that.
Yeah. So I always
Well-
tell veterans, or I'm sorry, I always tell soldiers or anybody that come into the tap room, if there's something that they need to look forward to later on down the road, is make sure they either have life insurance or, like the story I told before about, getting your life insurance or have that life insurance before you retire, or it may be too late.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, guys, it's 12 minutes past the hour. Let's see here. I believe if everybody will make sure and go check out her website, createwithlisi.com, because I'm very impressed with what she's doing. And I know for a fact it works. That's something I've done all my life, and it absolutely helps your mind get right. So if everybody out there would like to become involved, to go check out our website. And Lisa, is there anything else you'd like to say before we call it a night?
I just want to thank you guys so much for this opportunity. You guys are amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming
If
on.
you'd like to
being
come back on, if you'd like to come on sometime later on, you're more than welcome. You're always
That would be an
welcome here.
honor. Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
guys.
much. Everyone, have a wonderful night. Remember to like and subscribe, and always remember sharing is caring. Thank you.
Take care, guys.